Hello everyone, in this video you will learn Cattell's theory of personality trait approach. To learn further on Cattell's theory of personality, first of all let us see the man behind this. So who was Raymond Cattell? Raymond Bernard Cattell, he was a British-born American psychologist and researcher known for his psychometric research into intrapersonal psychological structure. So he was mainly interested in constructing psychological measuring tools, and he has constructed many psychometric tools, of which 16 personality factors questionnaires for the adults or 16 PF is one among them. He was educated in Britain and was awarded PhD in 1929 from the University of London. Raymond Cattell, he also tried to further advance the trait approach, which was advocated by Allport. Cattell, he had made many contributions in the field of psychology, but he is most renowned for his theory of personality and the discovery of 16 underlying traits. Coming to the Cattell's theory of personality, let us see how he defined personality. So Cattell in 1970, he defined personality as that which permits a prediction of what a person will do in a given situation. In order to study personality, Cattell, he used statistical approach rather than observational and qualitative data. Now he applied factor analysis to personality and categorized data into three data parts. We will study what are the three types of data that he categorized, but if the question arises what factor analysis is, I have given here. Factor analysis is a technique which is used to reduce a large number of variables into fewer numbers of factors by identifying common characteristics within the data. So this technique extracts maximum common variance from all the variables and then put them together in a common score. Now Cattell, in order to study personality, he applied factor analysis and categorized data into three parts. So what are these three data types that were used by Cattell to identify source traits? Number one is live data or L data. So the live data are the informations about an individual's everyday behavior and their behavioral pattern. This included things such as the grades they receive in school, their marital status, their social interactions, etc. The second is experimental data or D data. So these are the recorded reactions to standardized experiment in a lab setting, which is designed to test a response of study participants to certain situations. The third data type is questionnaire data or Q data. Questionnaire data or Q data are the responses to questions about the participants' behavior and feelings. This data was introspection based and it provided a deeper look at the person's personality that is not always clear through behavioral data. The 16 source traits. We have learned earlier that Cattell tried to advance further the trait approach which was advocated by Allport. Now, Allport identified 4,500 traits, of which Cattell took the least, and he removed all the synonyms, reducing the number down to 171 words. The words which are related to personality, and he called these words as the trait elements. The next step was to find out how they are related, of which he found that each trait elements correlated high with some and low with the others. So he formed some specific groups and called them surface traits. Once again, the surface traits were examined in terms of correlation and found out that there was overlapping. The removal of such overlapping led to the desired dimensions, which he called the source traits. Ultimately, Cattell applied factor analysis to the list of words, and it led him to identify the 16 individual source traits that are central to his personality theory. Cattell's theory of personality describes 16 personality traits that each person possesses to varying degrees. They are warmth, reasoning, emotional stability, dominance, liveliness, rule consciousness, social boldness, sensitivity, vigilance, abstractness, privateness, apprehension, openness to change, self-reliance, perfectionism, and tension. Coming to the categories of traits, Cattell identified and classified traits as surface traits, source traits, constitutional traits, environmental mold traits, ability traits, temperament, dynamic traits, common traits, and unique traits. So, what is surface traits? Surface traits or central traits are the visible qualities of personality. So, those traits which are visible in a person's personality, they are called as surface traits. Okay. Second is source traits. The source traits are the fundamental underlying traits, and it exists at a deeper level of their personality and are the causes of behavior. The third is constitutional traits. These are derived from the biological and physiological conditions of the person. For instance, recovery from cocaine addiction may cause a person to be momentarily irritable, depressed, and anxious. Cattell would suggest that this behavior results from changes in the person's physiology and thus reflect constitutional source traits. The third is environmental mold traits. These traits are determined by influences in the social and physical environment. These traits reflect learned characteristics and styles of behaving and form a pattern that is imprinted on the personality by the individual's environment. Thus, a person who is raised in a rural setting behaves differently from a person who grows up in an urban area. The fourth is ability traits. The ability traits determine the person's skill and effectiveness in pursuing a desired goal, for example, intelligence and music aptitude. Temperament traits. The temperament traits relate to emotions and feelings. These traits determine our interactions with others and our reaction to the situation. The sixth is dynamic traits. Dynamic traits reflect the motivational elements of human behavior. These are traits that activate and direct the person towards a particular goals. Thus, a person may be characterized as ambitious, power-oriented, or interested in acquiring material possessions. Common trait. Common traits are the ones that are shared in varying degrees by members of the same culture. For example, self-esteem, intelligence, introversion, etc. The last one is unique traits. Unique traits are those that are shared by few or no other people. Unique traits are specially observed in the areas of interest and attitudes. So that is all in this video. Thank you so much for watching.